This is On the Money with Ryan Wheelis. He's the founder of Allied Wealth, financial advisor. He's not the only one in the office, though. You got a team of folks helping you build income plans.
I got a whole team of folks, Mike. I mean, it's we're doing the Christmas party this year, and Callie decides she wants to do the Christmas party at our house. And I'm like, okay. And we're going to have like 19 people. It's 18 people work here, plus their spouses or significant others. We're going to have like 36 people at our house.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And she's like, do we do sit-down dinner? I'm like, where are 36 people going to sit? So it's like this whole thing about, it's a mess. You know how planning for holidays is, Spike. It's always so much fun, right? You want to go to see one family, your spouse wants to go see another family. It's always contentious, It
is a new world. Look, we all used to grow up in the same state, right? You live in the same city generation after generation. I live in one state. She lives in another state. Her parents live in two other states. They're like, oh, my gosh, what are we going to do every single year?
I know.
I actually look forward to just sitting and watching the bowl games on January 1 and going, oh, my God, I survived. Hopefully I will this year.
Here's the deal, folks. If you're out there, getting stressed out for the holidays, remember, holidays are about fun, and you're never going to make everybody happy. It's just not going to be that way. And I just know people get going this time of year, and they get stressed out, and it's like, hey, man, let's just remember what this holiday is all about. It's about connecting with people, wrapping up a good year, being grateful for what we have, recognizing what we've been blessed with, and sharing what we have with others, right? That's what it comes down to, Spike. And so that's why we do the show, folks. It's sharing wisdom about you and, retirement planning and because retirement's coming your way, bro. One way or another, it's coming. You're going to retire. It's whether you're ready for it or not, it's coming. I mean, at some point in time. Now, if you want to be like Charlie Munger and die at your desk, hey, good for you. I mean, Charlie Munger never really retired. He could have, and I think Warren Buffett would be the same way. But some folks, they don't want to do that. They want to do some stuff and go sit on the beach for 10, 15 years, whatever it is. It's coming your way. So retirement. Spike, we have a saying at Allied Wealth. When you retire, you leave your paycheck, right? So if you leave your job today, do they still send you a paycheck?
No.
They don't, right? And so, okay, so if I leave my job in retirement to retire, like I walk out the door and go retire, I got to do what? I still have to have income, right?
Yeah. You got to create a flow, something for those bills.
Somehow, right? So we always say that retirement is, without income, there is no retirement. Right, and the reality is, when you walk out that door, you're forcing yourself to solve an equation, and that equation is how do you live the next 30 years without the paycheck from your job in retirement, and not outlive your savings or your income. That's what it comes down to be, right? That's what we really specialize in doing at Allied Wealth, and we help a lot of folks do this. And I guess
I just read this line recently that, and it's interesting because it's tying into what you're saying, that retirement is the most expensive purchase most Americans will ever make. And I never thought of thinking of like retirement as a purchase, but in a way it is. When we're funding it, we're putting the money into it. So the retirement purchase is maybe something we need to be thinking. I've always heard the phrase that your home is the largest purchase that most Americans ever make, but really, if you're doing it right, retirement's the largest purchase you ever make. Would you kind of agree with that sentiment, that we need to do the math backwards and save into it? I don't think people in their 30s and 40s start to think of their retirement as a purchase. I think for a lot of folks, it's a crapshoot. I hope I saved enough. I'll find out in 30 years.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Spike. It's like, I remember the old ING commercial, I think it was, and the people were walking around with their number. Remember the orange suitcase, that were shaped out of numbers, and what's your number? And the guy the guy next door was, mine's a bazillion. I just throw some money at the problem and hope something good happens. And folks, I'm not mocking anyone, but I do think, there is some of that out there. But here's where we got to understand is retirement is not about net worth. Retirement's about income. All right. So, I know I remember back when the gold bugs were really becoming a big deal when gold went from 400 an ounce up to 1,000. It's well over that now, obviously. And those folks are right, by the way. Okay. I don't think you should have all your money in gold, but certainly have some. But what was happening is I was like, okay, listen, let's use this as an analogy. Let's say that you have a $2 million chunk of gold in your living room. Okay. Do you have net worth? Do you? You got $2 million in net worth.
Unless I can start chipping off at it or something, or even then, I don't know where I'd go spend it.
you're going where I'm going, right? But you don't have any cash flow. You don't have any income off that gold. So are you going to go and, figure out what your grocery bill is at HEB before you go there, then, carve off the exact amount of gold dust and then go over there and try to insert that into the card slot and the for the credit card machine or into the cash acceptor, the bill acceptor?
Yeah.
No, you're not, because that's not reality, right? Now, you could probably go down to a gold exchange and sell it there and then get some cash and then go buy your stuff. But the bottom line is you don't have cash flow, right? If you have net worth, you may not necessarily have cash flow. And that's what retirement's all about. And one of the things that we do, Spike, was we sit down with people and we go through this process. And what we want to look at is your current cash flows before you retire. What do you have coming in? What do you have going out? What do we need coming in retirement? And what do we have going out in retirement? And we want to build a plan that allows your cash flow needs to be met regardless of what's going on with the stock market, what's going on with elections, what's going on with interest rates, what's going on with, the economy, right? Those income needs, those cash flow demands should be met regardless of all those things. And ultimately what that does is allow you to go out into the world and spend money with confidence, right? You should not worry about, if I go, on this vacation, I'm going to have to eat cat food for the rest of my retirement, right? That should not be a concern for you. And the way you alleviate concerns such as that is you position assets in certain buckets, all right? You have income buckets, you have immediate cash need and emergency buckets, you have shorter-term growth buckets, then you have longer-term growth buckets. And inside those buckets are all kinds of different vehicles you can utilize to accomplish those goals. I mean, there's stocks that pay dividends, there's bonds that pay income, there's structured notes that pay interest, there's private credit funds that pay interest, there's private real estate funds that pay interest. There's all kinds of stuff. There's money market funds out there for short-term needs. There's all kind of ways to have this income. Some folks like income with guarantees. You can certainly have that. All right. And then what you want to do is figure out what you need to have coming in and look at what your Social Security is. Look at what your pension is. Is there a gap in what you have coming in and what you need to have coming in? And then how do we best fill that gap? Most of my clients want to fill it from a guaranteed source. All right. Some are okay using dividends, which can fluctuate up or down. Some are okay using bond interest, which, when you got to refinance your bonds, you can have a lower rate and lower interest, right? So you got to watch that stuff. But most people don't want it to be dynamic. And there's a whole level of design, Spike, that goes into building an income plan. And it's like you say a lot. We do the show together for quite a while now. You say that your 401k plan is not an income plan.
Yeah.
Right? Your IRA is not an income plan. Your statements are not a financial plan. You've got dollars on them. You have investments on there. But are those investments designed to produce income for you? Or
nowhere in those statements do they tell you how much you can take out, at what percentage of growth on average, and you can't outlive your money. Those statements don't do that.
They don't do that. And a lot of people fall back to the old 4% rule, which the guy who wrote the 4% rule came out and said it's not really applicable as it once was. But that's a whole different animal, Spike, because if you start with $1 million and we go into a down market, well, 4% of $1 million is $40,000. If the market takes your portfolio down 20% to $800,000, well, 4% of $800,000 is $32,000. So your income went from $40,000 a month down to $40,000 a year, down to $32,000 a year. But what didn't change? Your expenses. So what do you do with that? Right?
In fact, they may have gone up.
They may have gone up, right, because of inflation, right? So you need systemized, stabilized cash flow coming into the household, regardless of what happens with the stock market, the economy, or interest rates, folks. If any of that resonates with you, that's like something you'd like to have, you'd like to investigate how to do that, text PLAN to 21,000. That's PLAN, the word PLAN to 21,000. Text PLAN to 21,000, or call the show, 844-944-7555. Again, 844-944-7555. You can also check us out at retirenowhouston.com, retirenowhouston.com. Lots of ways to join the show here, folks. We'll be right back.